Hello, it's Tamara Hunter, and today is day number 130 of 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. And I have today as our service hero, Jim Grant. Let me explain why I made that very clear about service hero here. This man is a military man. He served in Vietnam. He was a master sergeant, and he served a long career for us in our U.S. military. And he is not the only generation in his family. He has multiple generations. So I want to make it clear, because anytime I deal with anybody from the military, they're very humble when it comes to that word hero. So I am finding that Jim Grant is a hero in my mind for the service that he gives to others, including myself. This man is, well, wait until you get to know him. He's fun. But he's also got a service heart, and he is doing so much for so many. So let's meet him. Welcome, Jim.
Well, thank you so much, Tamara. It really is an honor for me to be here with you today and to be associated with you and to be on your show. I'm just really thankful that you gave me the opportunity.
Well, it's actually more than my pleasure, because of the fact that, I have gotten to know you just recently through a mutual friend and now business colleague that we will be announcing here very soon. Wink, wink. Much is coming, guys. And that is Don McGrath. Don McGrath is one of my board members, as you know. He's my secretary and treasurer. And you two met a while ago. Why don't we talk about that meeting, and then I want to go into some of your background. But I think this meeting is just so important to how you and I met.
Okay, Don and I met at a seminar. We were in training, speaker training, and that's where we initially met. And when we met, it was just one of those deals where I knew we would be friends for life. And at that point in time, that was good enough for both of us. And then our paths just kept crisscrossing back and forth. And what really became so evident to both of us was that we're so much alike. Mm-hmm. We think alike. We're in step. And everything that we saw that we wanted to change, we were thinking the same way. So that's how Don and I initially met. It's really, really interesting. It's humble beginnings, but that's how we met.
Oftentimes amazing relationships that can actually change the way things are done do start from humble beginnings. And I love that. I want to talk about your military career and then go into kind of the here and now. But you actually served in Vietnam, didn't you?
Yes, I did, in 1969 and 1970.
Initially, that was a pretty tough time, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
I always said that was a tough time, wasn't it?
Yeah, we weren't liked over there, and we weren't liked back home either, to be honest with you. But I went in the Army originally in 1968, and I served the initial 3 years. I got out in 71. And then I took a break in service. Then I got back into the reserves, and I became an instructor years later. In my last 12 years, I was a certified instructor unit in the U.S. Army. Very proud of that. I love being an instructor, being on the podium. I mean, that's just the greatest job I've ever had in my life, even in the civilian world, even when I owned my own business. But wearing the uniform was truly an honor for me. It really was.
Now, when you were in Vietnam, you were sharing with me just now that you felt as though you were lucky to have come home, right?
Yes, a lot of people who served in Vietnam can say that, because there was a lot of close calls over there, and I probably had much fewer than a lot of other guys did. But to know that when you come back, and that every day's a gift. Mm-hmm. And I was talking earlier about, when people reach the milestones of being 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. Well, I'm 70 now. And, I'm, the way I look at it, none of those milestones ever bothered me. And the way I look at it, I'm still not on drugs. I enjoy good health and don't get in trouble anymore. You know, don't get any thump therapy from my wife or anything.
I can't see you ever getting in trouble.
Oh, yes, ma'am, I have. Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, sometimes I, accidentally on purpose get in trouble,
Well, there's a Jim that I'm getting to know that accidentally on purpose. You have a lot of fun with words, don't you?
Well, it's my sense of humor, or some people may say lack of sense, but I can't take this thing called life seriously because I know how precious it is. I know it can be over just like that. I mean, I've lost, loved ones like everyone else has. I've lost a daughter. And, you got to appreciate every day. You got to live every day, to the fullest. Treat people like you want to be treated. Be true to your friends and, don't forget your loved ones and that sort of thing. And that's really what life's about, more so than doing important things. Like we all have important things to do,
Right. Right. I want to recognize as people are coming on right now, we've got Dr. E.J. Johnson in the house. Hey, Dr. Johnson, also known to us as Jay. We've got Tina, the two, Tina and Amy. Their show is just amazing about friends on the Easy Way Network. She loves your personality, Jim. I do too, Tina. I absolutely do. And, I absolutely bless your heart. I agree. I know you just touched on it, but I want to just make it public that when you shared, and I'm not going to go into it too much, but you shared something very deeply that actually touched me. I just had met you up in Colorado because we are a part of a coalition that we're going to talk about here soon. That's pretty exciting and doing some amazing things. And you opened up. And when you did, I was like, okay, I know Don. Now I understand Jim. I'm all in. Whatever this is, you've got my 100%. And you showed a father's heart. And when you mentioned that you have lost people that you love, one of them was your daughter. She was young. Mm-hmm. And I just want to recognize the fact that you even just talking about it and opening up the way you did touched me in such a way that I thought, this man is a military man. This man has trained other military men. And this man I can follow completely because I also got to see your heart. And I want to recognize that and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, let's go on to some other stuff, okay? Now, I pulled this picture. I love it. Can you tell me about it?
What happened? I was a course manager, and my instructors did not have badges. And I was running around looking for badges, and I didn't know it at the time, but the commander he was supposed to sign them out to make sure who had badges. So I grabbed the bag of badges, and I took off with them. And I made sure all of my instructors had a badge when they went on the podium. And this wasn't my idea, but anyway, my instructors just wanted to, because they knew I got in a little bit of trouble about that. The commander was looking for me. Where is my badges? I need signatures. And I'm going like, details. We got people on the podium that, they need to look like they belong there. And I didn't know he was going to bring that one up. But anyway, my instructors, they all took their badges off and just pinned them on me everywhere. And they turned my hat around backwards. So I just went along with the fun with it, the day. That was actually my last summer camp that was taken in 2003 because I retired 2004. Yeah.
2004. Well, thank you. Thank you for your service. I do not want to let this show go by without thanking you for it. Now, I want to share this. Now, this is your son, right?
That's my son, James.
And is he the one that's also been in the military?
Yes, he is in the military right now. James has been on active duty since 2009. as a
Wow.
reservist. And that's when he just completed the Texas State Troopers training for 6 months. He became a Texas State Trooper, but then he got calls. He's back on active duty, and he says, "Dad, I can't serve two masters." And I says, "I understand that." So right now he has got 21 years of service in, and he's a Sergeant First Class E7. And I tease him, I still outrank him, by one strike. And he'll tease me back. That's okay. I'm still better looking than you. I said, all right, you can have it.
So the apple did not fall far from the tree. We have Tina saying thank you.
And what's so ironic about that, when he was growing up,
he
would always just come up to me and just say things like, "I'm never going to go in the Army." I said, okay. And he just pop off like, "I'm never going to go in the Army," this and that, several times when he's growing up. Then one day he comes in the door and he says, "Dad," I said, "Yeah." So I joined the Army. And I looked at him, I says, "Are you feeling all right?" Because all these years, he was not going to be in the Army. He didn't want no part of it, or military. And then he ups and signs up. So,
it's funny you have that discussion with your son. I had one of those today too. Our kids, that's funny. I have 4 of them, and they always say the same thing. "Oh, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. You do this, you do that." And he even admitted today, "Okay, Mom, I know I'm doing this, and I know exactly where I got it." I'm like, "Oh, I guess that's going somewhere." Now one more picture, and then we're going to go into the current.
Okay.
The ring now that's your wife, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the ring you're wearing, there was a tag is that your service ring from Vietnam?
This one here? This was a ring that Evelyn found that she bought from me. This is the Vietnam Veteran Memorial ring that I wear. I also wear the, I don't know if you can see it or not, the POW bracelet.
Yeah, and it's in this photo too. Yes.
Yeah, and I'll always wear it. I mean, because, it's just something, it's precious to me. Let me just say that.
Right. Okay, so let's go with that. So this, you speak from the podium, but this is speaking from the podium for memorial for the Vietnam, or is
That's the Texas Veterans Memorial that was presented in Austin back in 2013, and I was invited to read some of the names of the Vietnam veterans who did not return from the state of Texas. So that was quite an honor for me.
Right. Well, I wanted to recognize it because, again, serving others and people are going to understand when we get to what you really are, who you are and what you're doing now. They're going to get it from all of this because you're very, very tied in to the military. You are very proud of your service and those people you've served with. And I just absolutely treasure that because like we were sharing, I'm from San Diego originally. So yes, I have military family. And we were taught that it's something to be proud of. It's something to hold close to. And I still believe that 100%. And I'm so thankful for people like you, Jim, that do too, because that's what we are the grout that keeps this country going through some tough times and through the great times. And when we can stand together, linking arms and saying, our country is great. We're willing to fight for it. We're willing to die for it. And we're willing to not forget those that did. And so the fact that you wear that bracelet and the ring means so much and it explains so much. So I want to go in. Let's get a smile on that face of yours. I want to go in so you decided you were going to be a speaker.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because you already are. You've been speaking in the military. You were doing all of that. So you decided to do it in civilian life, right?
That's correct. Because I get a little feedback here, if that's okay. I graduated from 3 instructor training courses when I was in the Army. And in 2002, I have taught on hundreds of stages from 12 people to 200, 300 people on various topics. And I became aware of, being a public speaker, you can actually get paid for it. I thought, okay, that'd be, I can handle that. you
That's a
know.
good gig.
Yeah, yeah. And in this picture here, there's me, and that's me on
Oh,
stage there. That's the program
okay,
that
let
I
me
created
pull
there.
that other one back up. Okay, that
Oh, yeah.
picture with the group of people, were you
Mhm.
going to mention that one? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's Nicole, and see, I'm getting my glasses on here. Good. Okay. There's me in a brown jacket. And I know all their names: Debbie and Liz and Marcus and Karen and Darren and Frank standing back there. I mean, they're just wonderful people. I've known them for a long time, and these people here, like Debbie and Nicole, and they were the mainstays there. They were very influential in helping me to be certified as a public speaker, and I'm very grateful for that. There's also Amber there, and many other good people there, and that's one of the things that I really appreciate about not retiring to my backyard, even though I'm 70. And I tell people honestly that the reason I don't retire is because I'm not a carpenter, so I can't build birdhouses. I mean, I can fix plumbing, but I don't enjoy it. And I mean, what am I going to do with my time? Because after owning a business for 25 years, I'm not looking for a job, but I need to be constructively busy doing something. And the best advice I can give anyone is that if you get bored, find something to do to help others, and you will become on board.
Exactly. Back to giving service. I love it. I love it. In fact, okay, so now the unboard. Okay, so here you are meeting your friend, the duo. You guys not long ago decided to have a powwow, right? And say,
Yeah.
no, there's something missing in this world, and because for those of you that don't know Don, most of you do. He's an engineer by trade. He has a PhD by learning. He has multiple patents. He's a multiple book author, and just an all-around amazing brain and man and heart, just the whole package.
Mhm.
And he's a master rock climber. So he put this whole program together, and he's really helped me in so many ways in thinking about goals and thinking about your 10-year plan. What do you see? And he knows how to work things backwards, and he has patience that you don't usually see in an engineer. With a person, not necessarily
Yeah.
a project. So he's well rounded. And so you meet him, and you two end up deciding that there was kind of a missing link in the offerings for people that have a reason to get in front of others, right?
That's correct. Ironically, in this picture you just put up there, we were in Orlando, and this was the time that we said, this is it. No more. We're not going to play this game anymore, because I'm wearing a shirt and tie there because I spoke on stage that day. And Don spoke the next day. And we met down there. We had been talking about it. And then we come back. We start working on Google Documents and on the phone and back and forth, because we got tired of seeing the missed opportunities there for people that no one was connecting the dots. No one was helping people get from where they were to where they wanted to be. And in the process, Don and I, we came across some resources, and we could have taken one of two streets. We could have used those resources for our own benefit, but we put our speaking careers on hold because we realized what we were bringing to the table was so much more valuable, because what it would bring to other people. I'm talking about a multitude of people. And, there's a lot of people out there that's just been, they just need a good pathway.
Right.
And that was our focus. And Don likes to tell the story. He had slammed up against a rock during one of his climbs. I tease people, I tell them Don likes to get high. He's a rock climber. But he had slammed up against a rock and broke his right ankle.
Right.
I said, oh man, yeah. And so we got talking, and I says, and when Don and I talk, our conversation gets, really just high energy, just like sparks on against a grinding wheel.
Right.
And Don, I don't even remember saying it, to be honest with you. Don tells me, he says, Jim, you just blurted out, Don, I'm coming to Colorado. He says, Jim didn't ask me to come to Colorado. He says, I'm coming to Colorado because we wanted to sit down and get this thing hammered down. And when I went up to Colorado Springs, I did not know how long it was going to take, whether it was going to take 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, or 7 days, whatever. But I just went up there with one thing in mind. I'm not going to come back until we got it done. And
I love it.
We had it done in 3 days. And
wow.
and the thing about Don and I that works so well together is that Don would be sitting there. He had his video, where he's got everything set up and he's ready.
Yeah.
And he was typing in there. He says, hey, Jim, what do you think about this? And I said, I like that. I said, Don, by the way, because it sparked another idea. What do you think about that? He says, I love it. The way he is.
Oh yeah. He is so excited and animated. It's like, I mean, between the two of you guys are just a gem to watch, because you see this, that you guys, it's like a yin and yang. You guys are like almost like telepathic, it seems.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're on truly the same page in so many different ways, and that's very unique. And you have put together with Don something so amazing in, if you will, a very short period of time. I mean, when I got the call to, like, would you be willing and would you come to Colorado? And I believe that all the other 8 of us were the same way, because of the relationships that we had, either with you, some had a relationship with you, or the ones that had a relationship with Don, like myself. Because there's an element of trust when you're working with people of integrity that stand by their word, that they actually, you see that they're willing to serve others and they don't put themselves first, and those kind of people you're willing to do anything for, because they give you the call and it's like, yes, of course I'll be there. I'll find a way. And so not long, I don't even know how long it was from the time you had been there for those 3 days to the time that we had dinner together there at Don's house, the yummy lasagna that his wife made for us. That was just, I mean, she's a chef, guys, certified, trained chef, and she did this amazing dinner for us, and it was an opportunity for us to meet each other. How much time had there been between the 3 days and that day?
Okay. When I first got to Colorado Springs, it was on July the 9th, which was a Monday. And so then we met in the end of September there, or the middle of September there in Colorado Springs. That's how quickly it came together. And Don and I, we have talked about it from the time we met to the time, we kept crisscrossing each other's paths, and time we were both on the stage in Orlando. We realized that this was bigger than us. It had nothing to do with us, really. We were just put together as servants. I mean, right. I don't want to sound simplistic here, but it really was that simple. I mean, it was a higher force than us that put us together. And just because there's no way we could have done this by ourselves, especially meeting different places and crisscrossing each other's paths. I mean, I got invited to Orlando by a person, and Don got invited to Orlando by another person. And so we both show up on the same stage, me one day and him the next, because we knew each other. Of course, we're always, anytime we're together, we always sit together and all that, and drink coffee and all that. We just because we're buddies, we just like each other. We just got so much in common.
Well, I'm not surprised with how fast this came together, because it just seems as though it should have always been there as an offering. And what we're talking about is that you and Don have created a pathway. You used that word, a pathway for speakers and those people involved, revolving around the speaking world. So to have an ability to learn to, like you said, connect the dots in a way that they don't have to, if you will, travel to this summit and then go to that course and then take time away from their family and make those tough decisions on, do I pay Peter to rub Peter to pay Paul, or whatever it is. That sometimes you end up in that spot when you know you have a passion inside of you, you have a message, you have maybe life experience, you have a certain knowledge, whatever it may be, that you need to get in front of others. And it is the spoken word, however that is presented, that is going to help you to do, to get that goal taken care of. And so many have gotten this gem and that nugget and this treasure, but then the treasure map didn't have the little dots to go between, to get to X marks the spot, and that's the stage or the, social media or whatever they choose, right? And you were thinking, the two of you thought, why is it that there's not some offering that helps with that takes that map and says, okay, here's the connection to those wonderful tools and knowledge you've already gained. Mm-hmm. But here is a way for you to be able to get to X marks the spot, right?
Absolutely, because when you stop and think about it, the speaker industry, the way it was, it's the only industry I know of that charges high dollars, but there's no one to take you under the wing to help you. Because we did that in the military. When a young person makes the NCO, becomes a sergeant, the senior NCOs take him under the wings. Okay, now you're a sergeant now. You're no longer a buddy. I mean, you're responsible for them. There is a grooming process there. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to have so many years, time and grade in certain ranks, right, to be able to get the knowledge and the experience. And here it's all, just, hey, come and do it, and boom, congratulations, and don't forget to write, And Don and I saw that. And so many people too, like Don and I were talking about, a lot of people don't realize they have to have good speaking skills whenever they present themselves on a webinar, yes, or making a video. The principles are the same. Mm-hmm. They really are.
Right. So what you two did was you sought 8 people out that have different specialties that can together become like that person in the military, like that sergeant in the military, like that mentor in the military, if you will. But more of that's where the coalition comes in, right?
That's correct, because you may recall on a previous earlier video we did for the folks, is that we viewed it like a pizza. Mm-hmm. There's 10 pieces of pizza. All 10 of us make one whole, and everyone focuses on what they bring to the party. Mm-hmm. And that brings something to mind which is very important, that's missing a lot of times in life, that Don and I recognized, and that's what true leadership is. Leadership is not telling someone, hey, you follow me and let's go. Leadership is getting someone to understand, train them the standard, and get them to believe in the same principles, values, methods, and techniques that you do, and help them train others. That's what true leadership is. And that's why when we got together, you saw Don and I, we just kind of like, pull back and let the 8 executive training directors do their thing, as we say back in the
do their thing. And I have to say, for those that haven't figured it out, I'm one of the 8, and I am extremely humbled by that, because I am one of the newer ones on the block, and the 8 that we have. We have the other 7, let's just say this, are like at the very top of the game in each one of the categories. And I was like, I have learned so much since we met up in Colorado Springs from each one of these amazing individuals. They are so giving. It's like, how can I help you? What do you need? What understanding? What little building block? And I guess some of you also know I'm not too shy, so of course I help. I need it. And they've been ever so amazingly generous. And I really want to acknowledge that that comes from leadership. You and Dawn, you both are so generous, and we have our weekly meetings, and I see the way everybody interacts. And when there is a decision to be made, if you will, from management or the two owners, then it is always so generous and always on, well, of course we're going to do it this way, because that is what's best for the training directors. That's what's best for the membership. It's always about the others. And so then, of course, the training directors, they want to emulate that. It's like, okay, yeah, we want to be like the two owners, because you consider it's 10. That pizza has 10 pieces. So you are also a part of that circle, right? Yeah. Pardon?
I'm just one piece of that circle.
Right. And I'm just one piece too, but I'm in the circle. And that's why I want to say thank you for having me come and represent what it is, the group of people that will connect with me and be able to say, yeah, I have a mission, I have a cause, I have a nonprofit, or a cause, a profit with a cause, whatever that may be. And I want to get out there and change the world. Okay, let's do it. So, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. But we have people like E.J. Johnson, who was on, and we have, Dr. E.J. Johnson. He has multiple companies. I haven't even figured out how many companies he has. And yet, he has a nonprofit that is serving a community that's only a couple of years old, and through grants and through the work that he's done, he has it where it's worth millions, and it is affecting so many. And that's one person. We have, of course, Preston, and I would love Preston. He's up in Canada. He has he creates websites, and he helps people to just like rock and roll through them. And he is our like a webmaster and a branding expert. But I want to also talk about one that you and we're right in the middle. We're doing some filming for this, and we were talking about one of them, and I'm going to let you bring him up.
Koji.
Yeah.
Cody Sumati. He's a video guy, and I first met Koji back in about a year and a half ago or so. And he's just a very likable young man, but the technology that he has, we were out there at the Garden of the Gods. He had that little drone flying over the mountains there, and I'm thinking like, wow, I'd be afraid on losing that thing. How would you find it? And the videos he puts together for us all. And of course, I was telling Tamara right before we went live that I was doing some of my videos for my training and all, so I had to put my Koji cap on today.
Yeah. I'm going to be putting my Koji. We're putting our hats on. We're trying to be really good students. I'm going to let you talk about some of the others and why it is that they were chosen, because you know so many of them, and I would love to hear your thoughts. And so people know who these people are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Between Don and I didn't know everyone, and he didn't know everyone, but we trusted each other, and it all came together. And I'd just like to say one thing before I mention the others. At that dinner at Don's house, the first night everybody met, mm-hmm. that really took me back, because I stood back there and I thought, wow, here it is. What was the 14th or 15th of September, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was just here in the house, just me and Don, on the 9th, 10th, and 11th of July, putting this idea together. And to see the way everybody just gelled instantly right there at the supper table. It was just kind of like, that's something that I'll never forget. Yeah. And I'm very, very grateful. So yeah. Don introduced me to Sony Jackson. And all you need to know about Sony Jackson, she's got a bubbly personality. She is a funnel guru. Mm-hmm. She's just a subject matter expert. If you kept her up for 3 solid days, she'd never run out of energy.
I know.
But she's just so much joy to be mm-hmm. around.
Yes.
And the one lady that I knew longer than everyone else is Gigi Eames.
Oh,
And Gigi was the only one that wasn't there with us in September because she lived in Hawaii, the Big Island. And you remember the volcano there. She lost her home. And she literally was living out of a suitcase, you know, and she came to Iowa, live with her son, and she helped him do some things. And, you know, she was just homeless, basically, other than, you know, just living with family and friends. But even with all of that going on in her life, she never once even thought about stuttering or half stepping. She just says, yeah. She says, I've got some things I got to get in order first, but yes.
Yeah, I need a house. I need a computer.
Yeah, they come in handy when it rains.
And she is an Instagram
Yes.
guru, right?
Oh, yeah,
She's one of
absolutely.
the top Instagram gurus.
And she's good at branding. And see, a lot of them, most of our executive training directors, they have multiple expertise.
Right.
And the one person that I really enjoy talking to, and you know who this is when I mention Bill.
Oh yeah, he's my buddy in what we're going to be talking about here soon. Yeah, I've been buddied up with Bill. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, you talk to him for 5 minutes, and he's going to change he's going to get some of the cobwebs out of your mind.
I know. And anybody that knows him, and Bill Heinrich.
Yeah, Bill Heinrich. Yeah,
he is like, the way I explain Bill is he is the top of the pyramid, you know, the very, very top of the gurus that are out there. He's the guru to the guru to the gurus to the, then, you know, the top ones, you know. So he's like way up there, and yeah, well, part of his charm is he's just so humble. Oh, yeah. And he knows that he knows, but he's humble about it still. Mm-hmm. And he lets you discover, and he leads you through it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And as I was watching his video from, I think yesterday or the day before, when he was out in the desert, you know, and he was talking about how he helps people to basically unblock, get to be where they go. You know, I'm paraphrasing it completely wrong, but the way I think of him is, if you need someone that can absolutely help you to get to where you know you want to be, and then even beyond that, because you don't even know that you don't know, that is the one, because he's going to see it right away, and he's going to help you to find it. He's already done so much. I have spent time with him talking, and because we teamed. And so I've had that amazing gift, and he has done so much for me already. Yeah.
It's impossible to sit down and talk to Bill for 5 to 10 minutes. And we met in Orlando about a couple of years ago or something. And Bill just sat down. I was sitting across the table from him. I didn't know him from Adam's house yet. He got to talking to me a little bit. And he says, "You're a Vietnam veteran. You need to bring that out." I said, and I'm looking at him like, okay. I mean, I never have talked about myself, you know, for decades. Mm-hmm. You know, they never heard the word Vietnam in my house, and my kids never knew anything. I mean, they knew I served, I guess, but they never heard anything, or, you know, I just put it away. But Bill opened up my mind, and I didn't create a program about, you know, Vietnam, but I did create a program about your future is now. And where I got that from, I got to be clear. I'm an old Washington Redskin fan, you know, back from football, okay? When George Allen took over the Redskins in 1971, I think it was, he was known as Trading Horse George Allen. He was getting rid of some of the rookies and some of the future you know, draftees and all that, or the positions for the NFL draft. And he was bringing in veterans. And they asked him, says, why are you trading away our future? And he says, the future is now. You want the team to win now? You want to win next 5 years down the road, And
Right.
that's where I got that from, because the future is now. And one of the courses I'm going to be teaching inside our coalition is embracing change, because that's the starting point. If you're not willing to change and make a commitment to yourself, stay home. Game
Exactly.
over.
Exactly. So and then so we've got, let's make sure that we got Jay, we've got Preston, we've got Koji, we've got Sony,
Gigi,
we've got Gigi,
Bill,
and then we've got myself, and then Monique.
Monique Johnson. Don
Yes.
and I met her at the same time. Monique is, she is high energy. She is
She kept us
social
up until
media.
midnight, and
And I
I don't think
mean,
she was going to even let us out of that room, because
yeah,
we were. She kept like pointing to us and like, okay, we're doing this.
yeah, yeah. And because that shows you how dedicated she is. She's a
Yes.
social media expert.
Yes.
And Don and I, we both had thought about her, and we were talking. Don says, what do you think about Monique? And I says, perfect.
Uh-huh.
Because the ones that we handpicked, they had to have just two basic qualities. Number one, be a subject matter expert.
Mhm.
And we kept our promise to each one of the executive training directors. We would not get two with the same skill or something like that to broaden the field.
Right.
And number two, they had to have the same kind of heart that me and Don had,
Mhm.
or, there wouldn't be no room for them there.
Right.
Because our results, we're focused on getting people results. There's too many people out there focused on trying to get bucks out of them.
Right. So let's go back to that roadmap and then talk about, because today is the day that we get to release the video. They said, today, and we will be, yeah, it's today. So what I'm going to do is put it in the comments area. So everybody's going to need to see this promo video. You'll see what we're talking about, Koji and his, quite honestly, if you've been through some of the different programs out there, you've probably run into Koji, and he might have already done some of your work, because he's very well known. He may be young, but he is mighty and very professional. And so we get to announce today about show the video, and then we get to start having people sign up for a launch, a quote unquote soft launch that we're doing in November. Do you want to talk about that? Because this is huge.
Well, the November 5th is a launch, and it's our soft launch. We're going to aim it at speakers. And our desire is to help speakers get from where they are to where they want to be and become certified. Mm-hmm. Don and I, as you know, we have certification levels that they must meet. And the reason that's as important is because I know for a fact there are people out there that go to high dollar trainings and things like that. And they just basically buy the course, they show up, they sit in the class, they go through the motions, and they get the same certificate that everyone else does. And when you stop and think about that, if you got someone that's ready for the stage, that's got a lot of experience and got, instructor training like I've got, and they're not ready for a stage, I mean, the certifications are on two different levels, any way you look at it. And the reason that's important for not only for the speakers is that as we go and grow over the next couple of years, people will know that if they get someone from the Speakers Pathway Coalition that's a certified speaker, they've got everything together. They got their speaking abilities here, they got their credentials here, they're in perfect balance. And this is one thing that a lot of people make a huge mistake when they're trying to get a speaking gig. They try to say, hey, let me tell you how great I am. But really, you put yourself in the shoes of the person who is putting on the event. Mm-hmm. If you were putting on the event and you didn't know me and I walk in and I'm a speaker and all that, if I said, Tamara, I'd just like to ask you one question. Do you have all your bases covered? And see, you would either say, well, yes, or you might ask me, tell me more, or whatever. I said, I just want to know if you got all your needs met. What are your needs? Because if you're a trained speaker and you're a certified speaker, you know, you can speak on a wide variety of topics because
Right.
your position is you want to make yourself look good in front of your audience. You want everybody there to have a good time. You don't
Right.
want to hear me come in there and tell you how great I am.
Right. You want, it's about the person that invited you, the group that invited you, and the people that will be getting the information from that person that was invited. Now, the one thing I do want to clarify is that there are, and this is why I was so thrilled about the program, is that there is good information out there. There is,
Oh
you
yeah,
can learn this, and that group does this, and then, you know, for those people that have the money and they want that VIP experience, that's great. It's just that roadmap, that the places between those, that some people are just not quite getting. How do I get this material that I have and I have memorized and it looks great, it's beautiful, it's in a package? How do I get up on that stage? What type of stages should I go on to? And then how do I transition from there? And I want to, as you know, because we're spending a lot of time, but I want people to understand what this is really about. But I don't want to ignore the people that are here, because we got quite a few of them. We've got Tucker that's shown up. Hey, he's saying hi to both of us. He said hi to you and me, and to everyone that's here. And then David Jones is in the house, and he's welcoming you to the Service Heroes Club.
thank you.
And he's also saying hello to others that are here, because they love to talk to each other. And so you'll find that is a big part of the Service Heroes. And many of them are speakers. And so I'm sure that they're pretty interested in what it is that we're talking about, and what it is that, to kind of sum it up. And so the way I think of it, because of the fact that I think very simply, I've got too many things going on to get too deep into it. So I thought, okay, how can I explain this to my friends, which I go out there a lot. I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that have this piece, but they don't have that piece, or they have that piece, but they need, you know, the one over there. And so then of course they'll say, well, I know you were just here. What do you think? And everything. And again, I think that there's a lot of wonderful offerings out there. The thing that is here, that the way I like to explain it, is that for those people that are go-getters, for those people that they don't want to be waiting for that next program, they don't want to be waiting for that next summit that might or might not give them that missing piece to the puzzle, or a few different pieces to the puzzle, and they want to go where they can get all of this, and they're willing to do a little of the work, a little of the do-it-yourself kind of work, because this is a program that many people are used to, that VIP experience where it will be produced and given to you. This is one that you need to actually do the work, but in doing the work, you are going to feel that much more confident when you show up. And as you said, you're going to be able to ask that promoter, that person, that the host that invited you, how can I help? What do you need from me? And you're going to feel, those people will feel confident, and not only on a stage, but speaking. That's where people like Monique and Gigi and Sony, and then the website needs the Preston, and then Jay and his amazing ability to bring it all together and just make it happen with a bow on top, or a cherry on top, whichever way you want to go. And that if you do, and then of course, Don, you know, you two, just speakers extraordinaire and people extraordinaire. But if they're willing to do that, this is a program that is going to allow people to say, okay, I don't want to wait until next year when, you know, in spring this is happening. I need to get this done now. We're almost at the end of 2018, and my goal was to have something in place this year, and it's not quite there. They don't quite understand. They know that they don't know. And that's a frustrating place for a lot of my friends. They're at that mid-level, if you will. They've had maybe some success on some stages, but they're not they're frustrated. They're not getting where they really want to go. They don't know what a funnel is. It's more than just a kitchen utility, you know? So we're going to be explaining that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because whenever a person is a speaker, one of the things that Don asked in the questions there, who sells more books, the best author or the best marketed author?
Right.
You know, a good speaker is like a good salesperson.
Right.
A good salesperson just wants to know three things. You know, what do I have to sell? How much money can I make? When's payday? Okay.
Right.
A good speaker can present themselves and they can connect with the audience, but they're not a geek. You know, I'm not being facetious or anything. I mean, I am so grateful we got the team together, and that's the beauty in the coalition, because with everybody with their expertise working together, they can help the person. Don and I, we need help from these 8 executive training directors. But when it comes to speaking, Don and I are going to work directly with them and see exactly where are you? Where are your shortcomings? And we're also going to be putting people on stage to get them video, because that's important. You know, because you've heard the old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, a video's worth 1,000 pictures. Right,
exactly. And that's another piece that I think we need to clarify before we go and in this. We've got cheers to you too, Hermilo. Now, what the stages, you know, oftentimes when you go to one place, they have a very focused, which you expect them to have, because it's a VIP type experience usually, and they're going to be focused on a certain type of a stage, speak and sell, or you know, co-op, or content where you may get paid stages, or whatever it may be. There's different types, but that's not the case here, right? All stages are going to be addressed and explained, and you'll be able to understand not only what stage you want, but also what stage is going to want you, because that's a big piece.
Absolutely, because our position here is not to change your way of thinking to our way of thinking.
Right.
Our position is to help you get from where you are to where you want to be.
Right.
And supply you with the logistical support, the training, that sort of thing. And we do that with just a membership. And and we don't charge anybody for getting them on a stage either. And to a lot of speakers, they'll go like, "Did I hear him right?" You know, because a lot of people put you on stage, but you know, you better have some deep pockets. Get ready to pay some money out. You know.
Right.
And that's the stages there where you normally split 50% with the event promoter, and maybe the person got you the stage on 10, 15, sometimes 20%, just depending on the deal you work with them. But there's also, you know, we're working on a project right now. I don't want to get into a lot of detail, but Don and I, because of what we're bringing to the table, because of what we're developing, we're going to be creating our own stages. Right. And you think about that, for the advantage to the speaker out there, when we can put them on a stage in front of hundreds of people and they don't owe anybody anything for being, you know, for our gold members, you know, and that's going to be a tremendous blessing for everybody. And that's going to bring, this is not who we are. This may be the way you folks play that game, but Don and I, we're not for sale. And if we got to go out and do our own thing, we'll go out and do our own thing. And that's exactly what we did.
Well, there you go. Well, you know, I don't see you guys as renegades. I actually believe that it's just like when I created my nonprofit, there was a need. There was something, there was not an offering for a certain group that truly they will die sooner than the other groups that did have their needs taken care of. So this is an actual life and death situation, that why I went into it, and it's very important, right? And I feel very, very strong about it. But for the record, I am a proud geek. But what I agreed to with this is that I really did believe, and I do believe, that that this offers something that just was not available for
not at all.
for anybody. I don't see that as a Renegade. I see that as a smart option and playing in the sandbox. Now there's different formats. And that's what's nice about the United States and the way that our system works, is that there's place for all of the different formats to be out there. And I'm thrilled with it. So what we're going to be doing, I want you to be able to say, okay, invite people that we are going to be doing the soft launch, and it's going to be a series of webinars, right?
Absolutely. We're going to start on the 5th, and we'll all be on the webinar for the 10th, but there's going to be 2 executive training directors every single day. And that way people can get a real good look at who we are, the training they're going to get. And for those that choose to become members, there's a full 30-day money-back guarantee, because Don and I, we're very, like I say, we're focused on results and not bucks.
Right. I will say this for anybody that considers this. I have witnessed that these two businessmen that have had their own businesses and are solid in the opinion that this is about the others, and in the end they will be taken care of. Of course, it's business, but it's not about them. It is about the training directors. You've been more than fair, and then also the membership that's going to be coming in. And that has been job one, I know, is that the membership that will be coming in, they are the ones that we are there for. And that's when I was contacted. I was asked to commit a certain amount of time, a certain amount of information, valuable information that I can share about my specialty, that will be something that people will feel like, okay, yeah, this was worth my investment in myself. And I just think that the program is so exciting. I cannot wait. And I'm doing my first webinar. This is going to be my first webinar. And I have to just say thank you, Bill Heinrich, because he actually shouted out and he called my name. I felt like we were playing ball or something on the playground in elementary school or something. He's like, okay, I'll take Tamara. I'm like, oh, yay, thank you. Because this is my first one, guys. I'm with all these experts that know all this stuff, and I can do certain things. I'm really good over here, but this is going to be all new. So I want to thank Bill for that. So we are going to be doing this. A few of us are going to be at different places. So we're going to end it on what day is that again? It's
the 10th.
The 10th. Okay. We will put in, because if someone wants to find out about it, they can, we'll put a link here in the comments that they can sign up, right? And get notifications. And I suggest, let me just tell you, I know what these subjects are. I suggest that you sign up and then you attend every single one of these webinars, because I believe you'll sign up. But even if you don't, the time that you spend will be so value added. The ROI for that period of time, you will kick yourself if you don't spend it, because there's very few times that you can get in front of this caliber of a group of people. And so I want to thank you, Jim. I know I've kept you for a while, but I really wanted to be able to. I've been talking about this with many of my friends, and I wanted them to be able to see you. They know Don, many, and to get an idea, since now we can talk about this, because they did some of the testing last night, and so that we know that we can put the emails in. And I just want my friends, you know who you are, to take this challenge and sign up with your name and email, and watch these, because you'll be glad that you did. And then I'm going to check that you did. All right.
One of the things that Don and I built the business on was that Zig Ziglar told people for decades, you can get anything out of life that you want as long as you help other good people get what they want. And a lot of people think Zig created that on his own, but he paraphrased it. That's actually found in the Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 25. But notice what the word says. The generous person, by watering others, will be watered themselves. So therefore, you've got to water others first if you expect to be watered yourself in your life. And that's a great way of looking at it. And Don and I, we just, well, to be honest with you, when we talk about the things and scaling our growth and all that, one of the topics that keeps coming up is how can we invest money into our own stages? How can we get our people on stage? How can we get our members on stage? How can we get, people to give them the most value they can? They won't be able to find that value anywhere else. It's just not there. We know. Mm-hmm. We've been there. We've been to the rodeos. We got bucked off. We got tired.
So, I just want to say I appreciate you so much. And now that I've gotten to know you, I just enjoy being around you because you are fun and you're witty and you'll come out with a zinger. And it's like, what, did I just hear that right? And you say it and then you take off and you have an adventure while we're having adventures. And it's like, then you come back and start sharing that. And, yeah, you are a lot of fun. And to all of the other 8, because there's 2 of us here, the other 8 of the coalition, I want to thank you for what you've done for me. And I know that you're going to be helping so many of my friends here in the future. So Don, as we close day number 130 of 365 days of awesome Celebrate Success Through Service, I want to thank you for being the service hero that you are, and everything you've done in your life to serve others. And as we end, I want to just do a shout out that you have a particular group that you constantly and are always looking to serve, and that is the vets. That and any of my friends that I have not connected you with, which there are many still, I've connected you with a few, but there are many. Any of my friends that have nonprofits or for-profits that are helping vets to transition, get a hold of Jim, because that's actually where one of your huge passions is, right?
Yes, it is. I mean, because me and my son, we got 51 years in there, and he's served multiple tours of duty overseas. I'm a Vietnam vet. We can honestly say we got skin in the game. Yeah. And the thing I'd like to mention about my partner, Don's father was a prisoner of war during World War II. So yes. We do some things, and after this, probably in the spring of the year is when we're going to kick it off, once we get the coalition off and running. We want to do some events for veterans. Mm-hmm. And Don is just committed to that, as I am, and whatever we can do to help them provide a great opportunity to them to get support, to get knowledge, even get help.
Right.
That's our focus there.
Yes, and so I didn't want to end the day without making a huge shout out for that, because I think that the more of us, that good people that can make a difference actually commit to making a difference, we will make this world a better place. Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind, and I want to thank you for that. So thank you, sir. I know I've kept you a long time, but I hope that people have found value. I know I have, and I know my friends have.
Thank you, Tamara.
We'll see you soon. And bye, and I'll see all of you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.